Această emisiune vă este oferită de Aqua Carpatica.
Bună seara, bine v-am regăsit, sunt Roxana Ioana Gabor Iliescu și Hristos a înviat și așa ne vom ura până la înălțare. Mă bucur și în același timp trebuie să recunosc că am emoții pentru această ediție a emisiunii Sănătate, Trup și Suflet, pentru că vom continua în scurt timp în limba engleză această conversație, pentru că am două invitate speciale, o româncă dar care trăiește în Londra, nu a uitat încă limba română, dar am invitat aici tocmai pentru că putem discuta fluent în limba engleză. Ați mai văzut-o la Canal 33, Ozana Giușcă a început să vină la noi când era doar business coach, și spun doar pentru că pe măsură ce a făcut, a lucrat cu ea și cu Tony Robbins, pe care l-a facilitat pentru români și a adus pe Robert Kiyosaki, și apoi a fondat seria de evenimente Be You Be Free. Avem un nou Ozana și atunci, fără să o mai întreb, am pus life coach, pentru că deja vorbește în toate evenimentele ei despre mult mai mult decât cum să facem bani. Bună seara și bine...
Bună seara și bine v-am găsit și Hristos a înviat, într-adevăr.
Și din Grecia, numai că ea este originar din Viena, din Austria, dar a trăit mai toată viața ei în Londra, acolo unde a devenit și general manager pe Journey internațional. N-ați auzit vorbind despre metoda călătoria și despre Brandon Base, dar în spatele lui Brandon Base există o doamnă superbă cu ochi albaștri, de care de multe ori menționăm și am onoarea în această seară să o am ca invitată. De aceea, din acest moment vom schimba discuția în limba engleză. She's Gaby Burt. Thank you so very much. I present it to you briefly. I always mention you. Thank you for being with us. We said Hristos a înviat, and I know in Greece, where you are, it says, how do you say the wish after Easter?
Christo Anastasi.
Aha!
Christos Anastasi.
There you go. Okay, we say adevărat a înviat. Again, thank you so very much for being here. I know that you and Ozana, and also all the life coaches and all the people who are involved into the emotional therapy are speaking all the time today that it is possible to live without fear, that it is possible to use these times that are not at all kind, but are exceptional, because you can see things that yesterday or the day before yesterday you could hide. Now it's not more possible because you can see it up front. And I know that you and Brandon Base are doing a lot of campaigns and meditation, free meditation and events to tell this to the world. What you can share about fears? What did you experience in all the online events that you have all around the world?
Well, there's two questions, Roxana. And first of all, thank you very much for having me here at this program. And I would love to say something about fear and you know, that we don't have to feel this fear. Well, in my experience of what I have seen, I have been working with Brandon Base and the journey for over 25 years right now. It's actually 26 years. And there are two kinds of fears. There is a real fear that is a signal, a warning signal that I get when I need to do something, when I should take action. But this arises in the present moment. And then there is a fear that is an imagined fear, a fear of the future, of what might happen, of what could happen, but it's not here yet. And it's that fear that is so driven in our internal world, because we have been brought up with it. We have been born with it almost. We're spending so much time in trying to figure out what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen next week, next month, next year. And it takes us away from what is actually important and from what is actually happening right now. Because if we could be fully present to what is happening now in this moment, then if a fear arises in that, I can really open with it, and I actually do get a message or something that says, you know, I should perhaps go somewhere, or I should do something with, if I had an investment, or I should cancel I don't know. There is a real kind of impulse that lets me know that I need to take a certain action. And then there is the imagined fear, which I think is 90-something% of the fear that drives humanity today. And especially with the circumstances going on where we have, I know you in Romania, you are literally next door to Ukraine, but it's all over Europe. You know, we have seen millions of people leave Ukraine. As I read, I think it was last week, 4 million children have been displaced since the war began in February. I have no idea what this generation or how this generation is going to cope, because this is serious stuff, you know. I've been fortunate enough, I haven't grown up with something like that, and yet all of us have different circumstances of being triggered by something, and then this fear arises. And then we can use current circumstances, and I can say, well, I feel fear because there is an impending World War III, because there is an impending inflation, because there is an issue with my husband, because I could lose my job. All imagined stuff of what could happen. And then we're driving ourselves crazy. And Brandon Bays has devised a method, the journey method, born from her own personal experience of healing from a tumor the size of a basketball quite a long time ago now. I think it was
almost 30.
I think it was in '94, where through what she uncovered and realized during that time was healing from this tumor in 6.5 weeks, and literally shrank it to nothing. And out of this personal experience, she has created the journey method. And rather than telling people how to heal, she's teaching people how they can find a way through emotion, triggered emotion, mind-born emotions, through them, and opening into a presence that is a profound presence of source, of love, of intelligence and internal wisdom that resides in each and every one of us. And it's a repeatable process. And from here, we can heal cellular memories, where usually it's something that happened to us when we were children, when we were small, that somebody scared us, and we weren't able to deal with that kind of emotion at that time. And so we put a lid on it and put it away, and somehow it has become a trauma or a cellular memory and put away. And every time an incident triggers this old fear, it rises up, and we just blame current circumstances. So it's a powerful healing method that clears us from old issues. And if we do not pay attention to some of these issues, they can actually turn into physical illness because they are buried in ourselves. And so that's in a really quick and short nutshell of what the journey is, what the journey does, and a little bit about fear. And this is kind of my explanation about fear. Doesn't, if it resonates, I think if you hear something and you're not sure if this is true or not true, just listen with your heart, because I do feel that words spoken from a deeper truth carry a resonance, and you can hear in here whether these words make sense or feel truthful to you. So you don't need to believe anything that anybody tells you. And the one thing that I have learned through Brandon's work is we can start listening, not with our ears, but we can start listening with our heart, and here we can really make a distinction whether something is something somebody said or is born out of someone else's experience. And even then, for me, it would be, I want to experience that myself, and this is available for everybody. And I've already told you earlier, Roxana, we're throwing the doors wide open at the moment, because we really feel that this is a critical time in humanity's history right now. And we would love to see more households, more people have availability to this profound and deeply healing work. And so we've just created a crazy discount that literally just kind of makes it possible for us to offer this work. And if you know of anyone, or if you yourself feel that you could benefit from it, or that you are driven by an ongoing and regular emotional issue such as fear, or maybe it's anger, or maybe it's guilt of some kind, I don't know, then it's time to start to look within, find what's causing it, what the root cause is, and then you can start clearing it out. And once you clear it out, I promise you feel lighter, you feel freer, and life is more beautiful. We can see our world for what it really is. And I'm not saying we shouldn't worry about what is, but if I worry 24 hours a day, it doesn't make the problem go away. It just makes me worried, that's all. It doesn't change anything. And in present moment awareness, I can really start to listen if it's time to maybe leave the country, or time to do something that would make a difference in my life. So these are my words. I hope that is answering some of what you've asked.
For sure, it did. And I was wondering, Ozana, hearing this, with your experience, why do people fear emotions, fear going into emotions? I had experienced with people that say, oh no, what? It's a process that I have to go into my emotion? No, I'd rather not having children, or not, you know,
that's exactly what I wanted to raise as well, because I would hear someone like Gabriella 5 years ago, oh, you don't need to believe me, you don't need to hear, you just feel. I'm like, I don't feel anything. I don't have any fear. I just want to be successful. I want to go my way. And I would hide. I would not even acknowledge any fear. I would not feel any fear. I would not see any fear. So you raised the ball, which I want to pass it on to Gabriella, because it's many people, and I see right now so many people that are so scared of what's happening that don't want to admit, don't want to look, they just want to close the door and only talk about beautiful cars or cats or holidays or whatever to get distracted from what's happening, because they don't want to face the fear that is inside them. So how would you address these people? Because it's a lot of them that need healing.
Well, you know, an emotion is actually a chemical reaction inside the body. And if we feel an emotion truly, without creating a big story around it, an emotion is something that is coming and going in maybe 30 to 60 seconds. So we're talking about this fear, but if I say, this is an easy example, if I say I feel fear because there is a pending war, then I'm kind of holding on to fear because the war has been going from February till now, and it probably continues, so I'm stuck in fear. If I say I feel fear and I leave everything away beyond the word I feel fear, there is nothing wrong with that. And I can actually find out where in the body it is, because imagined fear isn't even in the body, it's just in your head. The emotion of fear, for many people, it may be in the tummy, or it may be in the heart area. And then we just put our awareness here and feel it. And you will notice that this fear comes and goes. It's only stuck inside if we attach a story to it. That's the key to every emotion. I'm angry because my husband said something. It's like putting anger and the story together, and the anger stays. I feel fear because somebody did something or somebody is doing something. Connects the fear and the action, and then it becomes a permanent. And then over time, I get so tired of having to carry this emotion that I put a lid on it, I shut it down, but this is actually also a beginning of depression, because if I don't allow emotions to come up, then depression is the next natural thing. It's something that happened in my life, and I can speak from my own personal experience, that I was shut down to a point that I didn't just feel fear, I didn't feel anything. And it was an accident that I had when I was 6 years old. It had nothing to do with any circumstances out there that were happening at the time, but it was an accident I had where I nearly lost my life. And it was not a memory I was carrying around. It happened when I was 6, it got resolved, it got finished, it got done, but it was a shock and it was a trauma. And that fear of death, or that fear of I could lose my life, got stuck. A lid got put over it, and it also got stuck in a moment where I was in a high enthusiastic moment or emotion. I was actually playing with my brother, and he teased me to a point that out of nowhere this blind rage came, and I wanted to hit him. And I just forgot in this blind rage as a 6-year-old girl that there was a piece of window in between me and my brother, and I stuck my fist through and I cut myself to the point that I nearly sliced my main artery open. Now, I was very, very lucky, and I lost a lot of blood, but I got to the doctor in time, I got stitched up, everything was fine. And nobody spoke about it ever more. I didn't remember that memory until I was 40 years old, and I also, at that point, couldn't feel a thing. I was kind of numb on the inside, and all the things that I was doing were externally created. So I needed to create my own buzz, my own happiness, a new car, a new game, a game of golf, being good at this, doing this. Everything was externally created to give me a buzz. But as soon as the buzz stopped, there was nothing. And when I look back now, and this is like 25 years ago, if I look back now, it was numb, it was grey. If I turn it up one notch, I could say I was dead on the inside. And I don't know where my life would have taken me if I hadn't met Brandon and the journey, because it took all of a half a day to turn the lights on the inside. And it was like a wake-up call, a major wake-up call. And my life changed from one moment to the next. I could feel life, I could feel me, I felt connected. and life hasn't changed ever since. I have been connected since that moment. And it happened on the first day of this seminar, you know, so I wanted to shout it from the rooftops. And it's not that I have stopped doing this work. I have taken this tool into my life, and every time something happens, and life always presents us with something, I use it. And I really feel that I feel very passionate, because I know it's not just work that worked for me, but I have seen thousands of people around the world. And I have traveled with Brandon around the world. We offer the journey, or have offered the journey live in 44 countries. The book is translated in 26 languages. And I have seen people in all cultures, in all colors, at all ages, in all cloaks that they come with, heal from all kinds of things, from relationship issues to not being able to have children, from serious illness to whatever. And people kind of lose their baggage, and they start to look younger, they start to look freer, and life becomes, it's almost like we have a big curtain in front of us, and then the curtain opens, and you are connected to life. You can see the beauty that is here, and you see the good in life. You don't just focus on what's bad, what doesn't work. You actually see the good too, you know? And so if that hopefully aren't, and I do hear this myself, that people are scared to open the Pandora's box, you know, that if I let one emotion out, everything will come up. It's not like that. You do this work, and it's almost like there is a gentle unlayering, as if, you know, I studied homeopathy before I came to the journey, and it's like there is a metaphor that speaks about like the unlayering of the onion. It's like the physical intelligence, the body's intelligence, knows exactly what needs to be worked on first. And it doesn't throw you 25 issues in one go. It's just kind of, it's like, this is what it starts with. Sometimes people come and say, I want to work on this, and then they're disappointed because a different issue showed up. And it's like, hold on a minute. You know, you've spent 40 years of your life or 50 years of your life accumulating issues. You've got to allow your body to have the wisdom to know what needs to uncover first. And maybe there's 3 layers before you can get to this, I don't know, heart issue that you may have, or a joint issue. I've recently worked on something. I had knee problems. I'm 67 years old now. I had knee problems, and I'm a sporty person, and first time ever in my life, and I thought, gosh, why, you know, what have I done? And I went to a doctor, orthopedic doctor, and he said, well, in your age, he said, it's normal, you know, it's normal wear and tear. And I thought, well, I didn't think I would have that, you know. And I actually did a physical journey, and it was so interesting because there was an issue that came up, I can't even remember, and it had nothing to do with the knee. And when we came to the end of the process, my husband actually did the process with me, and I said that I don't think that had anything to do with the knee, you know. And so in the physical journey, you have a kind of a magical mystery tour that takes you inside your body somewhere where there is a problem. And it did take me to my knee. And what was actually there is, I'm part of a beautiful project here in Greece, and it's bigger than I can actually put my mind to. And there was a fear. There was a real fear for me to kind of take that next step, because it was almost like it was too much. Mm-hmm. And it was like, wow, I didn't realize I had this little problem going in the back of my mind, that it's like, you know, you can do that much, but you can't do that much. And I kind of became clear that this was the issue, and somehow was able to clear this and come into full acceptance of really embracing this new project in all of gratitude, And my knees have been really well since then. So it's crazy. Our body does all kinds of things. And it's all the wisdom already is inside of us, you know. And so, yes, I go to the doctor because I want to know how serious an injury is before I go skiing. You know, I wanted to go skiing, and I thought, can I? And so, so there it was, you know. So I did go skiing.
Great. Well, actually, I was listening to you and thinking how interesting our mind, our brain is functioning. Because I've done a journey process discovering exactly this fear for a bigger project than myself. But my reaction was that I gain a lot of weight, because in my mind I thought if I gain weight I become stronger. Yeah. So I had to clear that up even before, opening for the new project, and also considering losing weight, because I was still accumulating weight. I didn't know why, and I discovered this. So what actually you were saying, before that, sorry, I have a disclaimer. As you know, in this show, we say we go together with all our tools. So yes, we go to our doctor, as you heard also from Gaby, to see what it is and to approach it from a medical point of view. And we can search for the emotional root cause, and we go and clear that too. So we don't have to repeat it and manifest it, and we go we start that emotional healing from there. So we go like this. We don't say this or the other one. And the other thing that I want to mention to you is that Brendan Bass has allowed us to offer the book that you heard Gaby mention it, The Journey, as PDF in Romanian for free. So you just ask at the Facebook page. You can give me a message, and you can have it for free. Thank you again, Journey and Brendan. And what I wanted to ask you, Gaby, is what you're saying about the fear. Is that a life without fear, it's actually allowing yourself to go through fear every time you feel it?
You can, and I do believe when we have done some work on ourselves, if we have cleared some of the bigger issues in our life, and these things are not triggered anymore, it doesn't show up so much. You know, and if today, if something happens and I feel fear, I do open with it. I really do open with it. I drop through. I find out where it arises from, or why it's arising from. But what has actually left for me is this imagined fear. I have really, through the work that we have done, and a full 26 years by now, have the blessing to be in present moment awareness. Now, I'm not a holy person. I'm a very normal, down-to-earth person, but a lot of my time I'm present and here now. And I have just cut some beetroot before I came on, so I'm aware I have red hands, so I do apologize just in case you're worried. Why has she got red fingers? What does she do? It's not a religious cult. I just had some beetroot for dinner, and I needed to peel it.
Okay, no, I haven't seen that, but now that you mentioned.
So where was I? What did I say just before the beetroot?
We were talking about that if you go through the process, then the fear comes.
So the present moment awareness to, you know, I'm not triggered every 5 minutes by more fear and more fear and more fear. You know, this mind-driven fear that lies in the future. You see, if my mind is invested in tomorrow and in the future, present moment awareness is not possible. But if I'm in present moment awareness, there is nothing here right now that I should be scared of. If I watch the news, if I read the newspapers, I can read what is going on, but it doesn't, you know, it's like, oh my goodness, you know, there's compassion. There's compassion for what is happening, and always a prayer for peace. That comes almost uninvited. Every time I see something, it's just, and it's not wishing and hoping, it's just a sincere, heartfelt prayer for the world that we come to peace. But it doesn't throw me into fear every 5 minutes. And if there is an extended period where I feel like I'm fearful for whatever reasons, you know, for money reasons or for this reason or that reason, I take time and I go after it. I find out where it arises from, what caused it in the first place. And if it's to do with something old or something to do with, as we also work with in the journey, ego fixation, then ego fixation is very much related to a fear of non-existence, or in simple words, fear of death. Then this is something that I have the tools to work with and to clear out. And that is what the invitation is for to everyone. And why we say, you know, emotions, there is nothing to be scared of, because I have accompanied people through the worst, most feared emotions. And if you really stay present, they survived. And if what I'm saying is, if you stay present just to the emotion, feel where in the body it is, it actually comes and goes. And Brandon always uses the most beautiful metaphor. She's done it again this morning. We're just in the middle of a retreat, an online retreat, where it was very much to do with emotions. And she said, how about a little baby? You know, a little baby can go through a myriad of emotions within seconds, you know, and it's like you have a rattle in front of the baby and it's like, ooh, and then the tummy hurts and it's, oh, you know, and it's like, and then a dog walks past and it's scared and it's like, woo, it's like it goes from one to the next, but it's normal. We are human beings. It's when we don't feel, we have shut down to life. We have shut down our connection to life itself. If we don't feel, how can we connect to anything? You know, I really do believe that emotions connect us to each other, to life, to ourselves, because in the core of every emotion is the gateway to the soul. And that is the core and the key of Brandon's work. And whoever tells me that they don't want to go in their soul, which is home, which is myself, then I don't quite know what to say, because then there is a story or a belief of what emotion is or could be or might be. And that's another fear. It's another imagined fear of something in the future, something that, and it can be a whole pattern that we run our life like that. And yet the beauty and the magic and wonder of life is here. It is in the present moment. I'm almost certain we are here, born into this life every time, however many times we come, in order to learn that, in order to learn and experience and remember who we are. And who we are in the core, in the heart, in the soul, is unconditional love, is boundless freedom, is a peace that passes understanding. This is who we are. And if we don't want to feel emotion, then we block that. We throw that away. And this is our wake-up call. I think the world is in the middle of a major, big wake-up call.
Yes, and we keep having these major wake-up calls, but we don't want to wake up. And yes, thank you for mentioning that with children, because I've experienced that with my girls. Every time I forget who I am, I can look you know, at a child of 1 year old, 2 years old, and you can see how open they are and how sincere they are. And yes, they go through all kind of emotion in seconds, and they find friends everywhere. They find, and they are seeking for joy. And I wanted to ask you, Ozana, I heard you saying that a few years ago you didn't want to feel these emotions, but now you open into it. And I know from a lot of entrepreneurs that are expressing this fear, they said, yes, I know I can feel I will benefit from emotional therapies, but I'm afraid that once I open, yes, the Pandora's box, I will lose what I have, which is my business, my company, and I'm not willing to risk this. You were willing to risk. What have you lost? What have you gained?
Well, what I see looking back is that I didn't even realize that I was not willing to risk. I just shut off completely. So it was not a rational thing, right? It was just like, I know this, I have certainty in doing things this way. Why would I change? And you would say, or somebody would say, well, because the way you do things is not giving you joy and fulfillment at the same time. But I still wouldn't trust anyone like that, because I had a plan and I was committed to my plan the way I designed it. And I had to fail several times, and the universe had to stop my business to make me realize that that wasn't right. And it was only the biggest suffering. I had pain, but if you don't do anything with the pain, it becomes suffering, right? So it was the suffering of the separation from my former husband, partner, that was so big that pushed me to search. And I couldn't bear it anymore, right? So when I started to go to people like you and Anisha and Isabel and other people that came to my workshops for business to help them grow, I had no choice but to listen and to do what they were giving me as tools and advice to do, because I was in desperation. But my question now is, why do we have to get to that moment of near-death experience or desperation or loss or whatever to start this beautiful journey?
One moment, because we don't have so many minutes left. And in two words, please, what did you lose opening? What did you gain?
I gained my life.
And what did you lose?
I lost the suffering.
Thank you. And now
there was nothing to lose, really.
Thank you for the opening. And Gaby, why do we have to, I call it in Romania, I don't know if in English makes any sense, why do we have to let the knife go directly to the bone before acting? Why do we have to go a wake-up call that strong before doing something?
There is no answer, because I was lucky. I didn't. I was actually so arrogant at the time when I came to the journey that I didn't really think I had a problem. I was working as a homeopath, and I just wanted to learn some extra tools that sounded really good to me for my clients, and so in doing so, I came to the journey for other people, not for myself. And I realized on this first half day that the person who really needed this work was myself. And so we do say, you know, we do have people who come to our workshops who are practitioners, therapists, medical doctors even, you know, and who
even priests, I have to say.
And priests, you know, so many areas they use it. And you can't come to this work as an observer. You can't come to not participate. You have to step in with both feet and allow the work to work on you if you want to do this with someone else. Some people come because they have an issue, they are suffering emotionally, physically, in whatever way. And some people have common sense and have seen some other people to transform, to change. Like my husband said to me 6 months into this work, we were just moving house, our dog was just about to die. It was not an easy period, and we sat at dinner one evening, and he looked at me and he said, "Whatever you are on," he said, "I want some." I said, "Well, you know where I'm getting it, go," you know. And so some people just are inspired by the lightness that they experience, by the freedom that they see, by the peace that they experience of what surrounds them. And it's like, whatever that is, can I have some too? And so I don't know, there is no real answer, but I guess when what's the saying? When the student is ready, the teacher will show up, you know? And I think for me, it was definitely the right moment in my life when I was ready, the teacher showed up, you know? And so deeply grateful to this day, and I never stopped talking about it.
So it's the student's choice. I have to say that my husband just came before and saw you, and actually his question was, "Oh, whatever surgery you have done, well, I want some." Well, actually, it's because you look younger each day.
It's the scalpel from the inside, you know. It's the scalpel from the inside. I have met so many people in the journey who they do the full program and they come out the other end, and it's like the journey practitioner program. It's a year-long program. They come out the other end and they look 20 years younger, you know. So I don't know, but it's connected to life, you know. We talk about life force, we talk about prana, we talk about chi, and that is what wants to move through our body. It does do that constantly. If we shut down, it can't move. And so if everything is alive, if everything is awake inside your body, your liver, your organs function, it does have an impact. It does have an effect on everything, you know. So you guys look pretty good on it.
Shiny faces here, Ozana, at you, and it's nice to be. Well, whatever we are on, do you want some?
We are alive.
We are alive.
It's the happiness drug. the drugless drug.
Something like that. Well, ladies, it's just 2 minutes. So if you have one word, you know, one word of wisdom after 45, what would that word would be?
Be you, be free.
Be you, be free. And we'll talk more about that. And Gaby?
Oh, life is the most precious gift. Don't squander it, you know. Really, really honor it. Honor life fully. And that is by being present to what is. And the journey offers the tools to do that.
Thank you. Thank you both. It's like this. We just, to quote my husband, we just open the window. And no, journey is not the way. Be you, be free is not the way. I don't know, maybe church is not the way. But it's one way, and another way, and another way. And it's one destination, which is very near to you, what you're seeing in the mirror. We don't know, we were talking before, we don't know how to shout louder. Do something.
Now.
Do something. Now.
Now.
It's your life.
Now, exactly. Now.
Not yesterday, not 2 minutes before. I'm so grateful that you watched this show, but please get up. Get up from your couch. Do something with your life. Honor your life, because it's so precious. And why do we want you to get up? Because it's all of us, or none of us. Because together, it's the real deal. Not me, not Ozana, not Gaby. And don't trust me. Feel my heart. Feel Gaby's heart. Feel Ozana's heart. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you. I'm waiting for your messages, and let's do this together. We can be free. We can be ourselves, and we live in magical moments. Thank you so very much.
Această emisiune v-a fost oferită de Aqua Carpatica.